the director of the DCI, Mohammed Abin. They are already before the National Assembly's Administration International Security Committee. So we are going to cross over there just in light of the gravity of the matter at hand. But we shall be getting our views later on in the course of the day when we get closer to the budget, the budget discussions. So this is not the last you're hearing from us. So let's cross over to Bunge.
Now, I was looking for, Honorable Chair, a correspondence from the Mbagathi Hospital, but I should be getting it shortly. But we received a letter from Mbagathi Hospital confirming that the deceased was brought to that facility at around 2 a.m. while already dead. I was trying to look for that document, but I should be able to avail to the committee before we end this session.
That is now
on the 8th. At 2. No. It's on 8th. You see, this entry was 0135? Yeah.
Morning hours.
The morning hours. So, who contacted the OCS? The OCS was contacted by Senior Sergeant Sigay of DCI headquarters. Someone might ask the Honorable Chair, why was it really necessary? Why did the Senior Sergeant Sigay contact the OCS? In the past, the station commanders have had serious issues, particularly when it comes to admitting of persons who have been physically tortured or persons who are sick or are not appearing well. So more often than not, the report office personnel and the cell center will insist before any person is admitted, they will need a concurrence from the OCS. And there's no way a report office personnel would admit somebody in custody, somebody who is physically injured or appears to have been physically injured or has evidences of torture. And it is on the basis of that and after confirming the physical condition of the prisoner that the OCS now directed the report office personnel and the cell sentry to make sure the prisoner was booked. And that's how PC Mohammed booked the prisoner while appearing physically fit. There was the question of caving, the status of caving.
You go past there.
Yes.
From your own, what you're reading.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the deceased was alone in his cell.
From what I'm reading?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was admitted well in a separate cell, alone.
From what I'm reading?
And he was found kicking walls in a cell as alone. And, of course, died while, he was then, of course, taken to the hospital, now unconscious, in a room that he was alone.
As regards Kevin, who was earlier on arrested, investigations were conducted, the Honorable Chair, and as I explained, the file was forwarded to the DPP, who were directed that we needed to cover some outstanding areas, which we are working on. And in view of that development, the suspect was released and an appropriate entry made at Capitol Hills Police Station, and he was handed over to a person we believe was his wife by the name Evelyn Makendo, who countersigned on the remarks column of the Capitol Hills Police Station occurrence book. So that suspect has been procedurally released. As to the remaining others, we have not arrested them and we don't know where they are. So,
General, am I in order to ask something? I said these must be the suspects that were mentioned by Kevin. And they must be among the 4, isn't it? I think it's so strange that you tell us that Albert was arrested and eventually lost his life, but the other suspects who are mentioned in the same breath with him, you're telling us you don't even know where they are, you've not even looked for them. Why was it important that Albert had to be looked for if they had committed the same crime with the people you are telling us you don't know where they are and you've not looked for them?
Honorable Chair, I think the honorable member is putting words into my mouth. I did not say that we did not look for them. I did say that. The first person we arrested was Kevin. We interviewed Kevin, and Kevin disclosed Albert and the rest. So the officers proceeded and arrested Albert while in Migori. The next logical course of action before this incident happened was for the officers now to go and look for the remaining. So it was being done, the investigation was being done systematically and not in a helter-skelter manner. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm taking too much time on this.
It's okay, but I think it responded.
Yes, no.
That of the 4,
we've been mentioned as having committed the same crime. We are 4 of us. I would have expected that we are all brought in at the same time, but that didn't happen. Albert was brought in. So how many days has passed since Albert was brought in that the other people are still hanging out?
Just not your observation on that.
For the same crime.
It's okay, Bui Rosa. The IG, this guy had responded to that there are 4 suspects. 2 have been interviewed, including the one who is deceased. On the reason why, who started first, who was taken in first, just told.
Chair, it's only Albert who was interviewed. The other one is the one who reported.
Kindly,
the other 4.
Please.
No, I'm just making a correction.
It's okay.
Kevin is the one who mentioned the other 4. So he has been acquitted. He's been released. But of the other 4 that were mentioned, it was only Albert who had been called and interrogated and obviously has died. Okay. The other 3 have not appeared yet.
I think you had made your point that you had 4 mentioned, including Albert, who is deceased. The one who was interviewed, the rest, you were to go to interview the rest. I think you made it clear. Yeah. The reason why this started first, I think we can. How many other questions pending? Is already 1. Midday. If question from the rest of members, kindly, because we still have a power to come in. Respond to Sigei, Ngeleche. I'll give you. So let's exhaust the question that were earlier asked by members. And that's why I was like, I don't want them to lose the track of the questions. I think Ngeleche did ask a question.
Questions were not answered, so I hope they'll be answered. Because I asked IG, why isn't it important that the DIG should step aside to allow for effective and meaningful investigations to go on?
It's okay. I'm sure they are noting. But now let's also understand that we need to give them time. Yeah. If we keep every other time, then we may lose track of the question.
In fact, Chairman.
And even the rest of members have not even asked questions. Yes, please, Buyu. So please, IG or DIG, you respond to the rest of members so that we take the last round, so that we get also a power in. I had mentioned earlier that we need to have a bit of a report to be submitted to Parliament in the noon before the budget is read. Even part of what I think.
A small and follow-up question for those ones who have not been arrested, because this was a crime committed. Yes. Now, do you intend to pursue the remaining 3 for arrest? Because you cannot suspend because of what has happened.
The DCI has clearly stated that all of them are on queue. So I believe that he's still going on and to get the rest. Then there was this question about the officers who are on duty at the Central Police Station then. and why they were interdicted. I did that to allow, and I did indicate from the word go that myself as the Inspector General and the leadership of the police and even the entire National Police Service, we are very much interested to get to know who are these or who is this who committed this heinous crime. For that reason, the officers who are on duty at that particular time when the late Albert Ojwang was brought in were interdicted to pave way for the investigations which we want to be done expeditiously. All of us, the Kenyan people, are interested to get to know. So basically that is the reason why these are the people, the officers who are on duty, they step aside to allow for that investigation. And that is exactly what happened, because they were there when all these issues that we are discussing here happened. Thank you, Chair. There was this question about the CCTV footage. Yes, at the Central Police Station, we have CCTV. Currently, as I did indicate, the investigations are ongoing, being carried out by the IPOA. While we were at Senate yesterday, it was mentioned that the power of one of the CCTVs had actually been plucked off. However, the experts are looking at the hard drive and to reconstruct everything. So I believe we're also going to get a lot of information. The investigators are going to get a lot of information from the CCTV. And number two, we're also going to get to know who is this that unplugged the power from the power source. So all that is subject to that investigation that is currently ongoing. The question by Honorable Losabuyu on do you think DIG KBS should step aside to allow for investigations?
The urgency of sending these officers to go to Migori, Homa Bay, was it discussed before rushing to arrest? I think I asked the question.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, there was actually no special urgency in terms of the investigations of this matter. Like I said, there was no preferential treatment accorded to the complainant whatsoever. This was a complaint raised. It was a complaint touching on the integrity of a person none other than the Deputy Inspector General, KPC, Kenya Police Service. So there was no special urgency where we feel that...
Maybe this year, while you are on that point, was this complaint raised verbally or it was a written complaint that we should actually have before us to actually confirm for ourselves that as a Kenyan he had the right to complain? But it must be there for you to take all that action which you have tried to explain to us.
It was a written complaint, Honorable Chair, which at the end of this session we'll be glad to share with the committee. Otherwise, in our service standing orders, unlike all other cases, we always emphasize on the need to expedite our investigations. And that is part of our performance contract, that we urge our officers to make sure that all cases reported must, in as much as possible, be expedited. But like I said, we did not accord the matter of DIG Lagat any special preference. As regards what I mentioned, Honorable Chair, the letter from the medical officer Mbagathi County Hospital, we received the letter dated 8th of June 2025. Name Albert Ojwang Omondi, gender male. The above named patient brought in by policemen from Central Police Station at about 2 a.m. On examination, he was unresponsive, no spontaneous breathing, no cardiac activity. The entire body was cold, face swollen, multiple bruises, scalp cut on the parieto-occipital region, and had bruises on the limbs. The patient brought in dead, notification of death form, field policemen advised to go to Kenyatta National Hospital Police Station and to City Mortuary thereafter. Signed by Dr. Shah Mitali, Medical Officer, Mbagathi County Hospital. Thank you.
The letter. So members, the three questions you from LHA, it was actually one question. I actually did ask even personally also whether this patient was really picked up on Friday or Saturday, because what the father said is totally opposite of what the police reported. Saturday or Friday?
The occurrence book, Honorable Chair, where we entered the arrest of Albert Ojwang at the Mawego Police Station, and when he was transported from Mawego to Central Police Station, we have all the relevant occurrence book and we shall provide the extracts. Thank you.
Chair, I think one of my questions has not been answered. I asked him if the officer manning the report office desk, the name of the officer who is said to have reported in the morning about Albert, if it was the same PC Mohammed Rashid Hilo or it was a different officer. And then another question, the reason as to why I was asking why the officers who have been suspended is because yesterday at the Senate, DCI Amin said that CI Talam was a suspect. So I wanted actually to know if indeed they are somewhere in the investigation and they are already having leads on who could be involved, or it was because they wanted non-interference from the officers of the station.
Chair, also on the omission.
Respond. Hold on, Masara. Straightforward, either Min or IG. Question?
I can maybe attempt to why I said that the OCS is the principal suspect, Honorable Chair. The allegation of the deceased, Albert, banging his head on the wall came from Central Police Station, and he is the officer commanding Central Police Station. Why would an officer coin such a narrative? That's why I said, whatever utterances the OCS Talam is making, we should treat them with a pinch of salt. I've not said that it's an accused person, but we should treat him as a suspect, because why would somebody coin that allegation? Thank you.
Chair. And of course, I think that is also in line with the act and the role and the powers of the OCS. I mean, the act put a lot of responsibility and power on the OCS in regards to suspects or any person presented to the cells.
Chair.
Is entirely responsible.
Chair.
So we are going to take the other round.
No, my question.
The IG was just about to respond to my question about the DIG.
A point of order, Chair. Chair, we are stuck on
order. That's what I've been asking for order.
We are stuck on 4 questions asked by 4 members, or questions asked by 4 members for all this time, and time is running out. When are we going to get chances also to inquire? And on some of the questions are really opinion questions which would rather be asked to the right people.
The IG was just about to answer my question before you started.
Okay, answer on the question of Buirosa. But hold Buirosa, hold please. Yes, and then Kangara, then we take the last round, starting from our colleagues.
As not,
you talked about the sequence of time.
The 4th, at what time did the IG complain to DCI? At what time did they form the committee? At what time did they write to come and took a statement from DIG? And then at what time the report to CAK?
They have promised to supply us with the sequence recorded. I think that's what you said, if I got it right.
Honorable Chair, investigations.
And in dates or gaps, it will be up to us now to make a ruling and observation on that one. So it's not a big deal. I think that's what you said.
That's what I said, Honorable Chair. Thank you so much.
You are going to have your moment, based on what is provided, to make observation and recommendation. Any gaps, then of course we'll also have opinion. You make an opinion on the same. So before we give you Kangara, then what about respond to what Buirosa is asking?
There are 2 questions from Honorable Lusabuyu. Number 1, the reason why the people of Kenya should believe that what we are telling this committee is believable. Let me start by saying that, as I did say yesterday, the primary information that we got that early morning of Sunday is that the late Ojwang had hit his head on the walls. And based on that, the first statement was issued based on that information. And it is for that reason the DCI have stated very clearly, why is it that this OCS prepares and dispatches such an information? What was his interest? So it is on that basis that the DCI has mentioned. And on my part, and on behalf of the National Police Service, and to the people of Kenya, yesterday I said, I'm very sorry for that initial information that was provided to the people of Kenya. I still remain sorry, and the National Police Service remains sorry for that. That is our position. Number 2, this is about the DIG stepping aside to allow for investigations. Only this one. There is an ongoing investigation by IPO. And in these investigations, every person whose name will be mentioned is to have played any role that led to the death of the late Albert Ojwang must record his statement, must show his side. And it is on that basis, I believe, if the DIG is going to be mentioned, then definitely we will write the statements, and I believe it's on that basis that now he can be able to step aside to allow for that completion of that investigation. My submission, Honorable Chair.
Kangara's question? Did you ask a question? Okay, just before you do, I think kindly members, it's already a 1:15 midday, and we still have high power. And I'd mentioned that we need to at least have a bit of report ready to be tabled in the House. So let's have another round, starting from the Senior Counsel, Kaluma. We go to Kangara, and our brother, who I think, did you introduce yourself even? Okello.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, my name is Jared Okello, Member of Parliament for Nyando constituency. I am here as a friend of the committee who asked on behalf of the Kabondo Kasipul Member of Parliament the questions that have necessitated the presence of the officers here. I thank you.
Liz Chelule.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And sorry for coming late. I am Liz Chelule, County MP, Nakuru, and committee member.
Let's have a question from the 3 members. Kaluma, Kangara. Gerald, do you have a question? Of course. Then I think we'll be trying to, let's go to be a bit precise.
Chair, the gravity of this matter cannot be overemphasized. It's a very serious thing and overwhelming. And my prayer would be that the National Police Service takes it as grave as we do and as Kenyans do. And therefore, Chair, I wanted to request that where you mentioned to us, police officers who could have handled this Kenyan in any way, let us get their service numbers. This is in respect of all arresting officers or any of these officers, even the OCS Kalam. We don't have their service numbers, so provide that. Also, Chair, where we have any references to documents so that we are able to, reconcile times and who could have been involved, let us have those records. Whether it is OB, let us have those records remain here permanently so that we can seal any material coming forth during the process of these investigations from, any possible claims in future of interferences with the records. But Honorable Chair, allow me therefore to ask the following now direct questions. We've been told that several officers were tasked to do this thing. In the course of arrest, there are officers now being involved other than those indicated to have been put into the team. And these officers are Senior Sergeant Sigei. He was not in the team initially put to investigate this matter. Sergeant Korir and PC Rapudo. Maybe a clarification on at what stage they were involved and with what particular role to undertake in the process. Number 2, Chair, which officers among the arresting officers traveled with Citizen Albert Ojwang to Nairobi? Number 3, which officers handed him over to the police station for reporting, which you indicate was done by PC Mohammed Ilo Abdullahi? Which officers handed him over? It is important to us. Number 4, Chair, which officers took him to Mbagathi, complete with their PC numbers? And then, Chair, there is something that has been explained, but we need more information. IG, this gentleman dies. It is claimed he is found kicking, and it is attributed to self-inflicted injuries, of course now confirmed not. CCTV at Central Police Station, and there are very many of them, appear to be disabled. I'm happy investigations are going on to confirm what records could be available and who could have interfered. But what do you tell those people who say these were not mere coincidences, but clear attempts at cover-up? Lastly, Chair, who is in charge of murder investigations here? because I see two aspects of investigations going on. One is investigations into the death of this gentleman, which will be a criminal case. And it's also investigations relating to police conduct, because it appears the gentleman died while in custody of the police, and so police could be involved. There are these two aspects. Are they both being conducted by IPOA, or there is an aspect IPOA is dealing with and an aspect the police is dealing with, and if so, to what extent? Chair, I thank you. Safe to say, Chair, that there are questions we would rather direct to entities other than these people. We want everybody who was involved in this death to be apprehended and to face justice in its fullest. Just as also we don't want anybody who might not have been involved to be brought in. So could you be circumspect? And in doing so, I ask my question, why is it that to date people have not been taken to court? Because listening to you, prima facie, there are people who should be in court by now. And I'm saying this, Chair, because unlike the other house where you were for a whole day yesterday, you know the powers of this house over you. Why are you coming before us before you take people just to be held before the conclusion of investigations, and people who could be interfering with evidences outside there? From the material you give us, why have you not taken people to court? And could you assure us before the end of business today, now that you appear before the House, that oversights you? And IG, you know our powers over you are not like the powers of where you were yesterday. Can you assure this committee before you leave, that by the end of business today there will be action from which Kenyans can see that we are not treating the cases of some Kenyans in a different way from others? I thank you, Chair.
So much. IG, I think what Kaluma has raised is very crucial. And just to put it very precisely, is that we have already a list of suspects. I think that's actually to the DCI. What holds you back from having them apprehended, presented to court, and make a plea to courts to allow you more time to conclude the investigation? At least they keep interfering with the investigation. Because that is what has happened to the majority of Kenyans before. Maybe you cannot respond to that one. It's very key. You have already a list of suspects. Why haven't you apprehended them, present them to court, and ask the courts to allow you time to finish investigation? Yeah, they keep having them freely moving around. They may keep interfering with investigation and cover-ups. Let's say this, I respond to that one. It's a very straightforward.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Like you have said, this is a fairly straightforward matter. It's not rocket science. I have my homicide detectives. The main function is to investigate matters relating to homicide. In this particular matter at hand, Honorable Chair, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions issued a directive directing the IPOA to investigate the matter and forward the file to his office for his further perusal and advice. Under the circumstances, Honorable Chair, we may not conduct parallel investigations because already IPOA is investigating this matter. And as you can recall, also there was a High Court ruling giving IPOA the exclusive mandate to investigate matters relating to complaints against police. So that's why, even in some of the obvious questions, we were not comfortable answering them. And if we start our own investigations, by now we'll have been very far, Honorable Chair. But let's leave it for IPOA to...
will be coming immediately after you.
Then there was the aspect of the documentations as asked by Honorable Kaluma. The documentations are many, and I would request that we be given time to compile all those documentation.
Interested with that one, so that we don't miss it out. But I think you had made it a point. Kangara, then we go to Okello.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'll also be very fast.
Chair, just a short follow-up. DCI. The question, Chair.
Give him time, yes.
It was just on the same point, so there would be no point, Chair, to repeat, to come back. The question of investigation, I believe the DPP did not instruct you not to carry out the investigation. And according to the law, the National Police Service Act and the Constitution, the Constitution gives IPOA the power to initiate on its own or on direction an investigation. But at the same time, it allows even parallel investigation. And I think there are cases you can confirm which have been done on a parallel basis, especially because you have the capacity to investigate homicide. So I think that bit maybe is something that, as far as this committee is concerned, to get to the truth, it's important you use the power you have to investigate the homicide.
Thank you, Honorable, for that question. We have cases in point, Honorable Chair. Before I was appointed the DCI, I was the Director, Internal Affairs Unit. And the main mandate of the IAU is to investigate complaints against. And we will investigate cases. I remember I investigated a murder allegedly committed by police officers in Kisii. But when we were at the middle of the investigation, the DPP directed that we forward the file to IPOA to take over the investigations. So that is the kind of parallel investigations we are trying to avoid. And for this particular case, it was very clear, in as much as it is a mandate, the DPP directed IPOA to investigate the matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, two straight questions, Chair. One is that when Eliud Langat reported the matter to DCI, after your investigations, you arrested one Kevin Moinde. And it is Moinde now who mentioned 4 other people. Can you tell us why you decided out of the 4 people who were arrested by Moinde to arrest Albert Ojwang and not the other 3? Can you also tell us at what stage Kevin Moinde was released from custody? The other one, I think probably Masara was talking about the same. This matter was reported on 4th. A team was formed on the same day. You went and got a statement from Eliud the same day. You wrote to CAK the same day. They replied the same day, and the following day you're already in Kisii to do the arrest. Yes, can you tell us why? And that's why I think Masara was asking about the timing, because the events and the following being done in the same day is definitely questionable. The last one is that from the report by the IG, OB number 09/08/06/2025 at 1:39 hours is the OB that released Albert from the police to be taken to Bagadi at 1:39 hours. The same OB, according to DCI, is the OB that reported at 1:35 that Ojwang was kicking walls. But the same OB number, from what you have told us. I'm sure it's in the Hansard. 09/08/06/2025 at 1:35, he was kicking walls in the cells. The same OB in the report that you have given us, 09/08/06/2025 at 1:39 is what released him from the police cells. Can you get a clarification, probably, Chair, and also because DCI was reading verbatim from the electronic OB? Can we also get the OB that now released him from the police cell to be taken to Magabi? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. I am acting on behalf of the complainant, who is the Member of Parliament representing the deceased. And it is coming at a time when, firstly, is to mention that this death has really attracted the wrath of the entire nation. Coming at a time when the IG himself, in the course of his vetting, undertook to uphold the highest integrity within the police service. And you are actually blunt enough to say that there will be no more abductions and no more wanton killings. Bwana IG, either your office or your officers have already walked back on this promise that you made to the country. Is somebody sabotaging your work, or it is the directive and part of your modus operandi within the police service, where you are taking us back to the police force which the new constitution ran away from? And I've got a few questions. At whose behest was the murder committed? Who was going to benefit from the death of this young person? Because the evidence so far, indicated so far is that it is the police that perhaps committed the murder, or it was done within the precincts of the police station. So who was going to benefit out of the death of such an innocent young person? The other question, because I'm acting on behalf of the complainant, we would want to know what action has been taken so far, apart from interdicting police officers who are actually out there doing whatever they can to either subvert justice or to come up with artificial barricades to prevent IPOA from conducting an impartial, comprehensive investigation. And let me not turn tribal, but we all live in this country. What is the nexus between a Mr. Sigei, a Mr. Korir, a Mr. Talam, and the name that keeps on coming up at the DIG, Mr. Talam? What do they share in common? That all these names are all involved into this issue around the death of Albert. Oh, Langat, the DIG. So I want to know what they share in common. And the autopsy has also revealed what killed the young man, contrary to the assertion of the police that he committed suicide. If the police is as white as they would want us to believe, why lie? At the very least, when this matter came up, has the police unit visited the family to commiserate with them and to assure them of an impartial probe over this matter? Or because he's just a 20-something-year-old boy whose father does not attract any national acclaim, it can be let to pass? I want to give credit to the police for a very swift investigation they carried out when we lost our colleague. And in the next 1 day or 2 days, somebody was appearing before the court of law on this matter. Perhaps because he's just a small person. This is the 5th day without any action. The 5th day. And the suspects are known. Their names have been shared publicly. So why? Why the silence at such a critical moment? And again, the CCTV footage, we are told, was deleted, particularly on the times that are under probe. Why would the police delete a CCTV footage if they have no role to play in the death? Why? Those are the questions I'd wanted to ask on behalf of the complainant. I think it's
very crucial questions. And lastly, because members, we have to finish so that we can allow the rest. I think you did.
Chair, the one I asked was just a follow-up to what you raised, Chair.
Okay, so what we have
Give me just an opportunity to ask one question. Chair, I want to ask the question, who authorized or gave orders for Ojwang, the late, to be moved from Homa Bay to Nairobi? It's a crucial question if we can clarify. I just want to ask.
I think it's not really, the question should have been, why move him to Nairobi? I think we have our police stations all over the country. Wasn't it enough DIG or DCI to have the suspect, Ojwang or any other, being interrogated in Homa Bay? Wasn't it enough? I think that is...
Chair, the question I asked is who authorized? And why is also another question, but the one I've asked, Chair, is who ordered that the suspect?
Sure
because, Chair, a question has arisen.
No, I'm asking,
yes,
because you kind of presume that it must have been the interrogation and the arrest, even, should have been in Homa Bay, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, Chair. The framing may be different. Thank you,
so,
Chair.
your point is, you've made your point. Vice Chair? Those ones, we should be winding up and try to capture every member's question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The issue of who authorized the movement of the late Albert Ojwang from Homa Bay to Nairobi. That movement did not require any authority from anybody. It was just an operational, tactical decision that can be made by any investigating officer. If a person is assaulted for an offense of, or a person is arrested for an offense of assault in Garissa, and that person is supposed to be moved to Nairobi, the IO would not require any authority from anybody. Our standing orders are very, very clear. Our guides to investigations are very, very clear. So, Honorable Chair, these are just tactical issues that does not require any specific instructions. We were treating the issue of the late Albert Ojwang just like any other. Actually, it was just, I even learned of his arrest the following day when I heard his father was dead. Yeah.
To add on that one, didn't you have facilities in Homa Bay to have him recorded, interrogated there?
Correct. Yeah, but it was not all about interrogation. It was all about arresting and processing him before court. And Honorable Chair, the complaint was made here in Nairobi. Yeah, so that is why. In terms of the efficiency and the speed at which we handle this matter, I really liked the observation by the Honorable member there that it took us almost 3 days to investigate the murder of Honorable Charles Were. And we're very efficient. And we're able to apprehend all the suspects. And we use the same speed the same zeal and the same efficiency to make sure that these other culprits are also arrested. So, I think that somehow answers your question. So.
Madam Chair, is he confirming that the suspects have been arrested? Are you saying that the suspects over Ojwang's murder have been arrested, or you are talking about Ongondowere's?
No, the question was about what was the agency about expediting the DIG Langar's case. And what I'm saying is, and like I said, there wasn't any preferential treatment. The same energy, the same efficiency that we used to investigate the late Honorable Ware's murder case is the same speed that we have used to investigate the complaint of cyber made to us by the DIG KPS. And like I said, Honorable Chair, it's not the first time that the DCI is expediting cases. We have resolved several other cases, similar cases in the past with the same speed. So, and that of DIG Lagat is one among the many statistics and the cases that the DCI was able to resolve expeditiously. Thank you.
When the other three are still... The other three
Go on. Go on. Okello's question. Try to do it under 2 minutes, then Kangara. I think Kangara was it was the issue of time again. There will be. And I think members, I did ruled that on the issue of OB and the entire sequence, we are going to be provided. It's okay, we'll extract it from the record. They're going to provide the entire record from OB, from the sequence. It will form part of our findings and observation in our report writings. So go on, please. We must be finishing this in 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. The questions from Honorable Kero. Why are we still having abductions? So when I was here before this committee, when I was being vetted, I was very, very clear in my mind that I will operate within the frameworks of the law. And let me also state this. I feel a lot of pain for losing that young man. I feel the pain the parents of that man feels, because I'm also a parent. And for that reason, we want those investigations done quickly, and those who have committed the offense to have their time is directed by the laws of this land. On abductions, every case reported to us, to the National Police Service, on missing persons, we investigate them with the same seal. The DCI, as we speak now, he has a team specifically set aside to deal with all the cases of missing cases reported to the National Police Service throughout the Republic of Kenya for whatever reason, including self-abductions. They are all investigated with the same seal. So what I'm trying to say to this honorable committee, honorable chair, the National Police Service will never, at any given time, allow for those abductions, and every case of reported missing person must be investigated to its logical conclusion, however long it takes. we must investigate to its logical conclusion. That is what I would like to report to this committee and the promise to the people of Kenya. There was this question on why was this particular murder committed. And number two, who is it that was going to benefit on the scene? Or simply, what was the motive? This subject matter is currently being investigated by IPO so that they can tell us why was this murder committed, or what was the motive of doing this. All of us here, the people of Kenya, including these committee members, we are looking forward to getting those answers, and I am sure at the end of the day they are going to come out very, very, very clear.
I asked about visiting the family to commiserate with them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. That is something that we had already planned to do this afternoon. And if we could have been through this, I had my team. We have already, sent our message of condolences to the family. And I have said, all of us here, we are parents, and we feel the pains. We feel that pain that the parent is feeling. And for that reason, we'll also be together with them and condole with the family, because we are part of this society, and we feel the loss. So, thank you very much here. That is what we would like to submit.
Thank you very much, Chairman. IG, I believe you are before this committee because we oversight you. We give you resources, both to look after the police and also to make Kenya a safe place. And in this particular case, the issue of Albert Ojwang is a person who died when he was the guest of the state, which should never have happened. And what we must discourage all of those who are under you is this thing of blue code of silence. When a crime is committed, it is a crime. We cannot look the other way. Imagine Albert could have been my son or your son, or any of you uniformed officers' sons, and would have felt the same pain, or even more. So I have just about 3 questions. The first one is, what was the instruction to the arresting officers who were sent to Homa Bay? And was there a warrant of arrest? The second question is the idea of Mr. Talam accepting over the phone for a suspect to be incarcerated in his cells. Is it normal? Or it should be in a way that he vigorously interrogates that particular suspect is both physically and mentally stable to allow him in his cells. My third question is, after the autopsy, we now know that this young man met his death through a head injury, neck pressure, strangulation, multiple superficial injuries. This committee gives money to DCI for homicide investigation so that those who are culpable are brought before the court of law. And if you tell us we have given it to IPOA, are you not telling us that we should actually give that money to IPOA, not yourselves? My final question is on this issue of Central Police. Central Police is at the heart of the city of Nairobi, with a population going to 5-6 million. And it is the most important station in Kenya. Why do we have a chief inspector who runs the Central Police? Yet all other officers in Nairobi, you'll find the IG, the DIG, all the senior officers are in Nairobi. For him to be able to not take instruction from any other person, it means the the OCS in Nairobi must be senior enough to even reject orders that come from any direction which he or she believes that it is unlawful or he's not comfortable. So are you thinking about that Central Police in terms of command and control? Thank you, Chairman.
Respond to those ones. I think I did make a ruling on the issue of the missing gaps or the gray area on the OB and the sequence.
About OB, I asked 4 questions.
What about
and none of them was answered. They should have the questions.
Which ones?
Sorry?
Which ones?
I asked even when Kevin was released from prison, the Moinde person. You did not get that kind of an answer. Huh? Right? Yes, I talked about the OB.
But I don't know. I think I said on the issue of the sequence, they will provide what they have. On what is missing, it's
Kenyans are watching, Chair. They should just be able to answer these questions. Yes.
Let me put
just
this
a straightforward.
This is a straightforward question, Honorable Chair. Like I said, we'll be able to share with the committee all the documentations relating to the complaint filed by the DIG KPS, the OB entry relating to the arrest of Muinde and the release of Muinde, that's escaping, the OB entry relating to the arrest of the late Albert Ojwang, all the way from Homa Bay, and the entry here, and all the other relevant documentations we are going to avail.
To the last questions?
While there, while on the question of what were the instructions given to the officers who proceeded to Homa Bay, the TOR was very clear that a complaint has been filed by a complainant, and their mandate is to investigate the complaint and take appropriate action. Those are basically the instructions given to the officers. As to whether there was a warrant of arrest, the typology of the offense that we are dealing with does not fall under that category, Honorable Chair. It is a cognizable offense. Cognizable offenses are offenses where a police officer can arrest a person without a warrant, and the police are also empowered to investigate. So it was a cognizable offense. As regards the homicide, yes, we have a very, very vibrant, robust, and efficient Directorate of Homicide within the National Police Service. And the public can attest to it for the cases that they investigated. They were able to investigate those cases very, very professionally and apprehended the killers. They were involved in the investigation of the late Honorable Were's matter and several other high-profile cases. Not that, Honorable Chair, we don't have the capacity. We have the capacity. We have the willpower. We are willing to investigate, even if directed today. But somehow, when it comes to deaths of prisoners in police custody, and in order to avoid conflict of interest, the ODPP had in its own wisdom directed that this particular case relating to Albert Ojwang be investigated by the Independent Police Officer Authority. And Honorable Chair, I've also cited the ruling, High Court ruling recently, stating very clearly that all cases involving complaints against police officers, even the Internal Affairs Unit, cannot investigate. And these were issues we have been discussing very, very seriously. That particular ruling, how does it place even the DCI and even the functions of the National Police Service? An order barring us from investigating complaints against police. If a police officer today commits an act of forgery, does it mean the DCI cannot investigate that case? So these are small issues that I'm sure we'll be able to surmount. But like I said, we have the capacity and the capability to investigate this particular case with a lot of efficiency. But due to the reasons cited, Honorable Chair, we will rather allow the EPOA to continue with that investigation. But we shall support them where they feel that they want any support from the Homicide Department or the DCI. We are ready and willing to support them anytime. Thank you.
Now that brings me to the very first question about the role and of the Internal Affairs units, and I've seen them in. Maybe they can just add a voice. Have you done anything so far to this end in regards to what is under investigation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Just like the DCI has said, we wish to comply with first the High Court ruling and the directive by the DPP to have EPOA investigate this matter. However, on the evolution of the unit can come in and investigate. The findings and recommendations are usually forwarded to the Office of the Inspector General, and the recommendations may touch on the crime committed or the misconduct of the police officer. And
give us on the mandate. We're asking, in this particular case, have you played any role to this end?
So far, not yet.
Chair. So you have delegated all roles to IPOA?
Chair.
Okay.
Chair, can IPOA secure scene of crime if the police officer are not involved? Who is securing the scene of crime? That cell where there was blood, who is securing it? IPOA doesn't have a cell. They are outsiders to the police station. Who is securing the scene?
Point of order, Chair. We have to, members, close this. We have IPOA coming in, and we have to write a report. So, members, kindly, I think we have gathered enough, at least to guide us. So just finish.
Chair.
Members, please.
Chair, it was not a question, Chair. It's just a very interesting situation, Chair. What you have asked about the Internal Affairs Unit and now the court order, does that mean now the Internal Affairs Unit should be disbanded because they can't do anything?
Please, members, your last response and remarks, so that I guide on what we are going to do.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. as the DCI has said, we have got the willpower, the capacity, and what it takes to investigate all criminal cases. However, on this one, there is that direction because highly suspected that police might have committed that offense. Then the IPOA to investigate
the suspects and the victims.
Yes. Then on the Central Police Station issue, why is it that Central Police Station is, in terms of command and control, is the Chief Inspector? Now, Honorable Chair, in all our stations, if you look at the command and control hierarchy, police stations are managed by chief inspectors. But on top of them, we have got the supervisors who are the sub-county police commanders, the OCPD. And in the case of Central Police Station, the OCPD and the OCS, that is the station and the divisional commander's office, they are housed in the same unit. Then on top of that, we have the county commander, county police commander within a county. However, in Nairobi, we do have a regional commander taking care of the entire Nairobi because of its peculiarities. But all of them are within hard reach. So meaning, the OCS must do what belongs to the OCS because it is in black and white and it is well guided. If he has any problem, he will consult his superior, who is in this case, the divisional commander. And so forth and so forth. If there are major issues, the regional police commander is also there to be consulted. And if the regional police commander has issues, he can now consult the entire hierarchy. So that is how it is, and the OCS has actually been doing its work as required.
Yes. Wind up.
Wind up, Honorable Chair. The question raised as to the processing of the scene, the power regulations allow the officer commanding police station to secure the scene before they come and take over. As regards the instructions, I want to make this very clear, Honorable Chair, that the officer commanding police station, Central Police Station, was not giving any instructions from any quarters. He was only notified as a matter of procedure, but not given any instructions to accept a prisoner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, IG and DCI. Members, we
Chair, when do they intend to arrest the other people who are mentioned with Albert?
So we have to bring this to a close, and so that we have IPOA come in. So I want to guide us as follows. And one, you provide all the documents that you've been making reference to, or of course reading, to include, and not limited to the digital OB, the report from Bagathi Hospital. Yeah. And you're whispering. So I've said the OB digital, the one actually we have been making a lot of reference to, the Bagathi Hospital report, the doctor's report regarding the death of the late the Albert. And in the issue, of course, also the report, there is the one you had already provided earlier. I'm giving blow by blow on the sequence of events until the victim was brought to the cells. We need to provide that. And of course, in case of any further information that we may require from you, you should be ready to provide as soon as possible. And I think that is what we can also go and you had promised Kenyans and promised us that you're going to cooperate with the IPOA. And IG, I should make this one very clear. I mean, I think Kenyans have spoken. Our constitution is very clear. And even the president, on several occasions, including even yesterday, had made it very clear that the issue of extrajudicial killing is not anything that we are going to condone in any way. And this should be very clear and loud. And under our watch, we are not going to allow it to happen. And you took an oath. It is this committee that did interview And we are so categorical and very specific on this issue. We have the law, a supreme law of the land. And it's very clear on the procedures of any suspect on how they should be handled. And we are a country that is governed by laws. So we are going to release you. Our team is going to conduct you in case of any clarification that we need. So thank you so much. Maybe you can say a word and we allow you to leave. But hand over the reports, all the files. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair, Honorable Chair, and honorable members. Let me take this opportunity to, first of all, congratulate the committee for actually assembling so that we can be able to tell the Kenyans about this issue. Number two, as I've said there before, I'm looking forward to the conclusion of this matter by getting those who did commit the heinous act of murder against one Albert Ojwang. And number three, we are ready to provide all the necessary documents to enable this committee also compile your reports. To those few remarks, I say thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much. You are free to leave. And Sergeant, you prepared a report to come in.
Naam, bila shaka mtazamaji, hapo ni moja kwa moja katika vikao vya kamati ya bunge la usalama, hapo ambapo wamekuwa kidadisi swala zima linalofungamana na mauaji tata ya mwanablogu Albert Ojwang, kikao ambacho kimekuwa kiongozwa na Gabriel Togoyo, mwenyekiti wa kamati hiyo ya bunge kuhusiana na masuala ya usalama. Tunafahamu fika kwamba waliofika mbele ya kamati hiyo ni pamoja na DCI ama mkuu wa idara ya upelelezi wa jinai ambaye ni Amin Mohamed. Tumekuwa na vile vile Douglas Kanja ambaye ndiye inspector generali wa polisi, na vile vile Gilbert Masengeli ambaye ni naibu inspector generali wa polisi, wakiulizwa maswali yanayofungamana na swala zima la kifo tatanishi chake mwanablogu Albert Ojwang. Bila shaka ni mdahalo ambao umekuwa ukiendelea, swala ambalo limekuwa likiibua hisia mseto kutoka kwa sekta mbalimbali. Kumbuka hapo jana vile vile wakuu hao wa usalama wakiongozwa na waziri wa usalama Kipchumba Murkomen walikuwa mbele ya seneti pale wakidadisiwa kuhusiana na swala hilo zima. Ni mojawapo zile taarifa mtazamaji ambazo tunazipa uzito kwenye taarifa zetu, lakini kwa sasa mtazamaji, kumbuka vile vile tuko na swala zima la bajeti mwaka